Hey all, just want to share a quick video. Um, it is February 13th. Getting my boat ready for spring. We're in a warming trend right now, so hopefully we'll have some open water here in the next few weeks, which means a little bit of crunch time getting this boat up and running, ready to go. So I just spent today rewiring all of the stuff underneath the console, as well as replacing the fuse block, because that was just all super crusty when the boat sank in September. And so I got that all replaced, and that's all good to go. The next major thing that I needed to do is, so if you guys remember seeing the video where my boat did sink, I was really confused by it. My dad eventually pointed out I got a big old crack right along the seam here on the passenger side. This is probably about 12 inches. And, there's the water line right there typically when it's sitting in the water. So I think that torrential downpour that we had, plus this hole, plus the float switch on the bilge not working, that's what kind of doomed this boat into sinking. So I just wire wheeled this, getting that prepped for the welding guy. Hopefully next weekend we'll get that welded back up. The other thing that I wanted to do to this boat this year was add some float pods to the rear of the boat. I do like this boat. Really, the big issue that I have with this is that when myself and another person are fishing in this, not fishing, but like just motoring along, when we're both sitting on those seats, plus all the batteries and all the weight that I have in the back of this boat, it's really dangerously close to the water line. So I want to add some float pods to get some extra flotation back there. And I talked to the welder who's going to be fixing that crack in the hull. And after he looked at my transom, so I redid that transom last year around this time. It's about a 1-year-old transom. Brand new wood, brand new weld job. That transom is rock solid right now. But the way the transom's designed on these Bass Tracker 3s, there's no structural support at the bottom. And the welder was pretty much like, we could add the float pods, but without any structural support at the base. He thinks that added stress of the float pods when you're getting up on plane is going to eventually potentially rip the entire rear transom off, which I don't want to do. I want to keep this boat for maybe another year, maybe another 2, and then get a bigger boat. So I want to be able to sell this boat, so having the transom rip off wouldn't be good. He did say that we could rip off that transom again and add the necessary supports, but that's just too much extra work for how long I'm going to keep this boat. So I'm going to move the batteries up into the forward section here to hopefully help even out some of that weight. And yeah, but I'm getting a little sidetracked. So that's the first major thing that I wanted to do. So I'm not going to be able to do that. The second goal that I had for this year was to get a better kayak. For the last 6-7 years, I've been using this Viper 10.2. This is just like a super cheap kayak that you can get at Menards for like $150. I bought this used. It's a great little kayak for just going out and paddling. The only gripe that I have with it is the seat is just terrible. Some people have said that you can replace the seat on this. I don't really see how, because it's just kind of molded in there, but I wasn't going to bother with it. It's a good little kayak for when I'm out kayaking with my buddies. But I wanted a better fishing platform. So for the last few months, I've kind of been scouring Facebook Marketplace as well as Craigslist looking for kayaks. And I finally found one. I got myself a Jackson Coosa HD. This was getting sold by somebody up in Wisconsin. So my budget was about $800, and this cost me $750, which seems like a steal of a deal. It's in pretty good shape. It's got some drag marks on the hull but really no major scuffs or marks or really any issues. So a few things that I wanted was looking for when I was looking at kayaks. I wanted one that I'd be able to just slap on that Power Pole Micro that I got back there onto the kayak. So I've got this bracket on the back of my boat that I built for the Power Pole Micro. It works on this boat when I'm out on lakes, but I'm sure you guys have heard me complain about it. It just doesn't really work well in the river. The boat's just too heavy. So I think it will work really well on the kayak, though. So this Jackson Coosa has its power pole ready. It's got the mounting. Well, it doesn't have the bracket, but it has the hole pattern right at the back there. So I just need to go buy it myself a second mount. And then the other big thing that I've got to obviously do to this kayak is deck it out a little bit more. I'm not exactly sure how crazy I'm going to go with this kayak. You know, the power pole is going to be a really nice addition. It's got this anchor system on it, and I do have an anchor that I used on this other kayak, so that has everything pretty well taken care of. It's got ram ball mounts for transducers and some GoPro stuff already. It's got a GoPro mount. So really the big things that I'm going to do before I really get out and use it, I need to figure out the electronics for it. What I'm probably going to do is just share the, not to get sidetracked, but for anyone wondering, why do I have a fan on my boat? So this boat, the boat again sank in September. This boat gets stored in my garage, and September was it's roughly been about 4.5 months since this boat sank. I've had it out a few times, but these seats were both underwater, and they're still full of water. I've tipped them up to try to drain them. I've tried to dry them out with that fan. They're not like soaked, but like if I go sit on that, I'm gonna have a wet ass. So if anyone has a suggestion on how to dry these seats out, I'm all ears. But anyway, for the kayak, I'm probably gonna use the. I've got a Lowrance. I've got a Lowrance up front. God, I can't remember the name of the model now. I've got it stored over my fishing room. But I'm probably going to use the same. It's an Elite 4 HD. It's got chirp down imaging. Really good. Small little depth finder. Wow. Tongue tied there. So I'm either going to just share it between the boat and the kayak and just buy a second transducer. Or, as you guys may have remembered, the Garmin that I have on the console, it's an older Striker 7SV. That died the last trip that I had out, so I've got to get new electronics for the bow or for the console. And depending on the deals that Bass Pro Shops has or Cabela's, or I've got a buddy that's selling a Helix 9 that I might buy as well. But if I find a really good deal, I might just buy a new console as well as a barrel for the boat, and then just take the Lowrance off of this boat and move it over to the kayak. But we got to get that figured out, and then the next, obviously, is the power. We got to have power for the depth finder, and then for the power pole, and then I also want to try to figure out the camera situation. So I've got 2 GoPros that I typically use. I'm probably going to use like a head mount or chest mount like I normally do. I'm personally not a big fan of watching YouTube videos where the camera is facing the person. You know, I want to see the fish. I don't really want to see the angler. No offense to you anglers out there with YouTube channels. I really do like the YOLO Tech like rear mount. So I might look at adding a mount for the YOLO Tech. to the rear of the kayak. That's kind of like a secondary project, but really the big one is just get a battery and then get the electronics hooked up to the kayak. So if anyone has any suggestions for what battery to use, or how many amp hours and things like that, definitely let me know. Any other kayak suggestions? Again, I've never really gotten too involved with kayak fishing. Although now having this, I've got a lot of buddies that do a lot of kayak fishing, but I might actually look into doing some kayak tournaments this year. I think it might be a little nice change of pace, but that's all a little too early to tell. But yeah, if you guys have any suggestions on what to do, what to buy for these rail systems that they have, there's so much to these kayaks that needs to get discovered. So definitely interested in hearing your guys' opinions on stuff. Let me know. Thanks for viewing. See you all next time.